students, how are you all? So we will continue with the same chapter, that is life processes, and we'll discuss about human digestive system. In the previous class we discussed about digestion of nutrients in mouth, and I asked one question also from you, which nutrient digestion takes place in mouth, because in the mouth salivary amylase enzyme is present in saliva, which is secreted by salivary gland. So here the carbohydrate digestion takes place, and I told you that the food, the nutrients, they are present in a complex form. So here the carbohydrate starch is present in the food, and here the digestion of starch takes place. Starch, I told you, is a complex molecule, a carbohydrate molecule, and it needs to be broken into simpler form, and the simpler form is glucose. So starch is a big molecule, so its digestion begins in mouth. So in mouth, in one attempt only, it is not changed into a simple unit glucose, okay? But here this big molecule is broken down, but not into a simpler form. Slowly when this broken starch or this digested food particle nutrients starch, that when it will pass through other organs, further digestion of starch will take place, and then it will be converted into a simpler form called as glucose. So I asked these questions and two students gave me the answer. The answer was correct, that amylase acts on starch and digest the starch. Okay, salivary amylase, it acts on starch in the mouth and convert and digest it. But I asked the questions from all the students. I did not ask the question from only two students. At least others can try. It is not necessary that the answer has to be correct. At least you can try. Okay. So today we will continue with the same digestive system. You can see here, students. Now after that, what happens? The food is swallowed. Okay. Now when the food is swallowed, the food passes through a region which is called as pharynx, and through esophagus it reaches stomach. Now what is pharynx? This you have studied in your lower class also, but again I will explain you. Now you can see, you see this picture. Now students, pharynx, this is a region, this is pharynx. So pharynx is a region which is common to air as well as food. Now you can see this. Suppose this is a nostril. So air enters through the nostrils. Please take deep breath. You will have some cool feeling in one particular passage. Okay, so that is the respiratory passage. Respiratory passage means the air enters through the nostrils. It passes through this nasal passage, this nasal cavity which is called, and through here it will pass through this region, and this region is pharynx. When you eat food, this is mouth, and when you swallow the food, food also passes through this region. This is pharynx. So you can say this region pharynx is common to air also and food also. Now this pharynx, students, behind it leads to a food pipe which is called as esophagus. Can you see this? This is actually esophagus. So this pharynx, behind it leads to esophagus, and in front it leads to trachea or the windpipe. Okay, behind it leads to esophagus or the food pipe, and in front it leads to what? Trachea, which is a windpipe. Now the question is, when we swallow the food, why the food does not enter in the windpipe, why it goes to the food pipe only? So I'll tell you the answer of this question. Now just see here, this is not given in your book. I will draw a rough diagram. Okay, now students, just suppose this is trachea. Okay, this is windpipe. Let us say behind is the esophagus. Now this has a C-shaped cartilage. It is made up of like this. All of you please touch your neck softly, and you will find some C-shaped ring-like structures. Okay, that is your trachea, or which is also called as windpipe. So in front the pharynx leads to this trachea. Okay, now students, this trachea has a opening. Okay, there is a opening like this, you can see. Okay, these are the cartilage ring. Okay, this is a cartilage ring, and like this it has a opening. Okay, this trachea has a opening, and the mouth of this opening, it has a flap. It has a flap structure like this. Okay, it has a flap structure, or a valve or a flap. Now students, what happens when you swallow food? Okay, when you swallow food, all please try to swallow something. Touch here in the trachea region, in the neck region, and try to swallow something. All of you, please do this activity. Okay, suppose like this, I can just show you in a, suppose this is the trachea, this is the opening, and it has a flap like this. Okay, now when you swallow, what happens when you swallow? When you swallow, this region trachea, it moves upward. So when you swallow food, what happens? This region move upwards. See here, it moves upwards and it gets covered by the, or it gets closed by this flap. Okay, and when you swallow the food passes through the pharynx, and the trachea moves, this region, it moves upward and it gets closed by this flap. So the only passage left for the food is to go or to pass into the esophagus. That is why the food doesn't enter in the windpipe. I hope it is clear to everyone. This, it should be, please understand it properly. Now after that, the food passes to the esophagus. Now what is esophagus? Esophagus, it only helps in the passage of food. Okay, you can see here, this is esophagus. So this esophagus, it passes the food from the mouth to this organ which is called as stomach. Now how the food passes in the stomach? It passes through esophagus, but it doesn't directly fall from the esophagus and reaches the stomach. Okay, this esophagus, it has muscles. Okay, and these muscles, they contract and they relax. Okay, so this rhythmatic contraction and relaxation of the muscles of esophagus or the esophagus is called as peristalsis. What it is called? It is called as peristalsis or peristaltic movement. And the food enters or passes through the esophagus due to this movement, which is called as peristaltic movement. What is this movement called? Peristaltic movement. You can see here this. The lining has a, please underline, tract rhythmically in order to push the food, peristaltic. So with the muscles, they contract, then they relax, contract, relax, thereby pushing the food into the stomach, and this movement is called as peristaltic movement. I will show you here how it happens. Just see this picture. I hope you can see. Now see, when the food reaches here, okay, suppose before the food was here, what will happen? These muscles will contract. Okay, it will push forward or it will reduce in size. So this was the food particle, or this was the food, and when these muscles will contract, what will happen? It will push automatically. It will automatically push the food down or no? And when the food will be pushed down, so what will happen? This food will occupy some space, no more. So in that case, these muscles, it will expand. Can you see here? The muscles will expand to receive the food. And after that, what will happen? These muscles will contract near the food particle. When these muscles will contract, these muscles, it will come back to its original shape. Understood? I hope it's clear. And when these, so it will come back to its original place. And when these muscles will contract, what will happen? When these muscles will contract, again the food is pushed down. And now these muscles will relax. Understood? So this is how the food is pushed down by the process called as peristalsis. I hope it is clear to everyone now. Now the food, it reaches stomach. Food reaches which organ? It reaches stomach. Stomach is a highly muscular organ. This all of you know. You can see this is stomach. See, this is stomach. this is liver. Okay, so this stomach, it is a highly, you can have a better look, see. So this stomach is a highly muscular organ. So from this esophagus, it will reach your stomach. Okay, this all we have done. Now the stomach is a large organ, it's highly muscular, and when the food enters the stomach, it expands, it increases in size because it is muscular also. That is why it increases in size or it expands. Okay, now after that what happens? The food, it stays in the stomach for 3 hours. Okay, okay, you can see here. The muscular walls of the stomach helps in mixing the food thoroughly with more digestive juices. So this I will tell you. Now food stays in the stomach for 3 hours. Now in the stomach there are certain glands which are called as gastric glands. The glands are called as gastric glands, and these gastric glands, they secrete one juice which is called as gastric juice. I hope it's clear. Gastric juice contains, what is gastric juice? It has hydrochloric acid, gastric juice has mucus, and it has enzyme called as pepsin. It has what? It has one enzyme which is called as pepsin. Now students, my question is to all the students, which nutrient breakdown or digestion takes place in stomach? Just send me the answer through WhatsApp. Okay, now students, this food, it reaches in the stomach, and this gastric juice contains HCl, hydrochloric acid. This hydrochloric acid, it makes the food acidic. Okay, so the food, it becomes acidic, and this pepsin, which is an enzyme, it is in inactive form. So when the gastric juice is secreted, it has hydrochloric acid and it makes the food acidic, and this pepsin, which is in inactive form, it gets activated in the acidic medium. I hope it is clear to everyone. So the HCl of the gastric juice, what it does? It activates pepsin. How it activates pepsin? This HCl, it makes the food acidic, thereby activating pepsin. Now the mucus, what it does? It forms a lining on the stomach, thereby preventing the stomach from the action of the hydrochloric acid. Okay, now this HCl juice, what is the another function of HCl? First of all, it makes the medium acidic and activates pepsin, which is present in an inactive form. Okay, and another one is it kills the bacteria of the food. Now this pepsin, which was in an inactive form, suddenly gets activated in an acidic medium, and it digests which nutrient? Okay, so rest we will do in the next class. Okay, just send me the answer. Rest about the intestine, we will study in next class. Please open page number 99 and 100. So tomorrow we will discuss, not tomorrow, in the next class we will discuss this, and then we will start respiration. So if you have any doubt, you can ask or you can clarify your doubts during doubt clarification session. Thank you.